And I don't want people to just absorb Huanfeng and be like, oh, but he's, he's still such a good AD carry. It's like, people saw him in a bubble that is Worlds, and he performed very well at Worlds. So did Bin. But we come back into the LPL where it's a very different environment. We have a lot of big AD carries coming over, like Aiming, Viper. We still have, Jackie Loves in the league. We see, like some of the older...
We see Mystic at some stage.
is going to be coming in, and Loken's still playing well, so... Huanfeng has a lot to live up for, and so does Suning as a roster without Sorta. We're into pick and ban, ladies and gentlemen. That is a first ban-worthy Nah, which is surprising enough with the Zoe. And a first pick Renekton. There is a very young man out there molding somewhere with OMG's draft choice.
We've seen it a lot, though, in the major regions where you go towards this Renekton and try and grab yourself something like the Taliyah or the Nidalee. Now with the Taliyah banned, Nidalee is the big standout one here, where I assume we'll actually see Suning take this away. You don't want to give that pairing over, especially against Aki. Aki is an insanely aggressive early game jungler. He will gank you whenever the opportunity arises. He's had level 2 Graves ganks several times now from what I've seen. So do not give this combo over, because all you're saying is, hey Bin, please, or at least Suning are going to be saying, look, OMG, please play around Bin. Please go kill him. Please make sure you won't have
Tractor's Dagda. Let's go.
Yeah, and we actually have seen this a little bit, not from SOFM, but we have seen it in the LPL. And this is a pick that I like to try and draw a parallel between Olaf, where you can have this very quick early game clear. You can have a little bit of aggression in towards, like, say, the likes of the top lane and stuff. But certainly you're more focused around picking up these early dragons and playing through a strong bot side. So I want to see what gets paired with this Kai'Sa, and if they can set up for that strong duo lane to enable these early dragons for the UD.
This has been my first Udyr here. I think it has at the very least, because in 7 days a week of broadcasting, I had a bit of a break, and Udyr is, one of my faves. Dagda, I can't wait to talk about this. We'll go into the game a little bit more optimistically. I do want to come back to some of your points, and I do want to highlight that Kai'Sa has been a must ban for a lot of these teams, and the fact that Suning get it as a red side first pick is just a big surprise. So, going to be going down to Huanfeng, and now we got GP going into Renekton, right?
I hate this strat from OMG.
Oh,
look, I like the Renekton. I like this Mira. I wanted that Nidalee. I wanted to see you favor Aki here. Get a strong matchup, something that can clear just as aggressive against SOFM. You can still have a decent matchup when it comes towards the actual team fights as well, because you can play at range, force this Udyr to try and run at you. That works out really well. However, you've now opted in towards this Twisted Fate. Now Aki already is going to be put behind because there's no Taliyah. You're going to get Nidalee off the board here by Suning. You can get rid of the Lilia as well. And then you're in this situation where you don't have a champion that clears as quick as this Udyr, and Udyr just takes over the early game and takes over at these dragons.
Yeah, the Phoenix base damage is just so high. Done, many patches ago, just that slight increment advantage that's been added onto the bases. I also want to add that, Dagda, you wanted to get engaged to me in the first series, and now you want to engage in combat with OMG in the second one. So just something for our audience to keep in mind with your hostility alerted. Suning have banned the Nidalee, though, so we're not going to get it at the very least. They've got rid of the Lilia as well, and Aki now left in a bit of a capsule, considering the Taliyah, the Olaf, the Pantheon are all gone.
Yeah, and I don't understand this. I mean, you could still have gone, like, if you wanted Woomin on a more defensive kind of lane-orientated pick, well then, go towards something like the Galio still as well. And I don't like Twisted Fate paired with Renekton, because you are just overkilling the CC. Even if you play towards the top side, you're not snowballing something like a Camille. So you're forced to try and play a little bit more heavily towards this bottom lane, which makes it easy for Suning to just try and play around that, especially SOFM, who's so good at tracking that bot lane. So, now you've gotten rid of some of the more annoyances that are going to be coming in from the jungle. Cool, get your really strong bot lane. There's the Rel, means that then you're going to be able to go aggressive. You got that magnetism to make it very difficult for Samira to bounce around in these team fights. Like, Suning's draft right now is so strong against what OMG wants to do.
They're going to try and set up their bottom lane all the same here, Dagda, with the Twisted Fate and the Alistar by the seams of it. Cole, this is one of his best champions, so good to see him return to it. When he was known as 5, when he had Chelly by his side, he was definitely one of the top tier Alistars around the time they last made playoffs as well. He was actually with SMLZ, to correct myself. The Hecarim. That's one of the few left open. We saw the Graves, but what does Aki strike you as? Kindred is actually a big favorite champion of his, so he still has options, just limited.
Yeah, but it's the problem that I have with Kindred is that you don't clear that jungle quite as quick. And Udyr is the fastest jungle clear out of pretty much a lot of our junglers right now. So from SOFM's point of view, he's got a field day here in the early game. And you're kind of tossing up a 50-50 as well, where you could potentially have Udyr run up towards this, clear towards top side, get the scuttle on top side. You've got an option here to go for the counter pick in mid lane for Angel so he can push in, and you can double scuttle this Kindred. Then you've got a very easy way of denying these early marks going over towards the Kindred as well. Like, overall, I think Suning have got a very strong game plan here. They've got brilliant scaling into the late game as well. Yeah, I think OMG, they've all in on this early game, so we need to see Aki go for these level 2, level 3 ganks, hopefully snowball the likes of this Renekton, enable Woomin in this mid lane, and maybe they can hit the mid game in their stride. But this is a bit of their backs against the wall here when we come to this early.
I just want to say, any player that hovers Z and doesn't pick it should actually take, LP loss in solo queue. That should translate. That is the worst offense. You can't flash Z with 5 seconds left to go, then go to Azir. And when a lot of people rely on noting their bedtime, whether that pick is picked up or not, there's a lot of people about to snooze off. But I guarantee you, at the very least, Dagger's already set up conditions for you, so you shouldn't be waiting for that bed. We're setting up for an OMG Suning series where, dictated by OMG's early game, the scaling element, you already talked about it, how Udyr could navigate these fights and really set up with part of the pick and bear stance. I'm excited to see what SOFM actually optimizes for in his Mythic too, because SOFM is iconic for being someone who would experiment with items. And, he'd be that redemption Lee Sin, redemption Olaf he made very popular. He's going for the phase rush here, so we're going to get a speedy boy as we run into Summoner's Rift up against Aki here, who was previously on top esports for a short stint, and then top esports challenger, where he's been for most of his competitive career. SOFM, someone who we all know from Worlds, he's a jungler who likes to farm, and with Phoenix stance, he'll be able to do that pretty damn quickly as we finally enter the Rift. Oh my god, it's definitely not it.
And a lot of attention. Yeah, a lot of this attention is going to be put towards these early jungle paths. So Udyr typically tends to go towards this chem tank build into the Dead Man's Blade, and with phase rush, real speedy boy, real damn quick. But the interesting thing is that you actually end up taking like 1 point in Tiger stance to start off your clear, and then you go in towards the Phoenix stance. It's just so then you get this very quick clear on the solo target buff, and then you get the AoE clear for the rest of your camp. So I want to see SOFM start on this bot side, then start to roam towards this top lane, because honestly, if I'm looking at any lane that OMG can play around off of just the level 2, level 3, it is going to be this Renekton at the top side, and having Aki potentially chase that down. So having SOFM up there to try and prevent that is a must for Sid.
I think up towards his blue buff as well. I like this from SOFM. Just note, I was talking in Pick and Ban about how, Phoenix was quietly buffed and it wasn't really changed. You talked about the Tiger stance. Nice one, Dagda. It's going to be the start off there for the solo target quick clear. The Phoenix as well, buffed up to 50 flat magic damage with 100% AP scaling. But you're not looking for the AP scaling. The flat damage and the cone damage from Phoenix stance is just really, really nice, especially at early levels. So enables Udyr to get the Raptors, especially since Tiamat changed, since, we are looking at items like Iron Spike with the same cost value. It is just kind of nice to chat about how Udyr navigates through the jungle. Already going through quite quickly, as we can see. SOFM just a camp ahead now at Wolves.
And this is the big problem here, is that Aki has actually opted in towards a full bot side clear. I expected him to go red into like the Gromp blue and then maybe towards a top side gank to try and solidify a lane that he can play around. But he's going to be much slower in the clear. You can see how quick Udyr is passing through this. And you're now running the risk of, hey, with SOFM having Angel pushing, having Bin pushing, he gets that top side scuttle and goes for that second scuttle on the bottom side, like we already talked about.
Using his range advantage for now with Angel. Also note that he's gone for the lethal tempo, something we don't normally see in the LPL. It has been the comet in the lane, so the fact that Angel is gearing up for the team fighting, the late game scaling you talked about when you have a lot of wombo with the setup in GP and the flash actually from Juan Fong. Crash down, falls the flash out of cold as well. they'll proc the second skin and Huanfeng moves back into lane, but just paying the respect of what this bottom lane can do.
Yeah, I like this aggression though from OMG, because if Udyr doesn't want to go for that bot side scuttle with the push, Huanfeng and On could actually go and steal that one away. But because they don't get the crash, they don't really have the time to go and pick up that bottom side scuttle. However, junglers will meet, but there you go, Udyr, level 4 to level 3, thanks to that full, quick clear.
And also note that he gets rid of the shield from Scuttlecrab with the bear stance. Just walking straight through mid. Going to help push this one out. Is Arky going to do the same? But you already talked about the level lead. Phoenix as well, the AoE burst that just takes it down on the first hit. And SOFM now backing away. Arky kind of challenging him, but waiting at the very least. Eric and Cold moved up too. It was a kind of a risky place to back, but Arky only had interest in the Scuttlecrab, which is going to be his first mark.
This is a lucky break for Aki, because got the mark onto this bottom scuttle, but also Woomin actually going for this very early back. Usually the Twisted Fates will hang on until they hit that level 5 and a kind of recall around the 5-minute mark. So you get a lot of more of your item build up, and then you can come in with full health, full mana for that level 6. So Woomin willing to give up that pressure at level 6 to ensure that Aki gets this early scuttle alongside Eric and Cold roaming up from the bottom lane. So don't expect Woomin to be as potent as he usually would at level 6, and may actually, honestly, be down in mana and not capable of making those early Destiny plays now because of that early team.
He has to move into Fog of War too, right? Because when you have the Emperor's Divide, the ability to stop that ulti and stop the global play from happening from OMG is there. So there's something we have to note with the mid lane interaction. We are watching Bin getting pushed in after he had great setup in the early game. SOFM also spotted out an award in this top side, so he's definitely pathing more consistently up here, also trying to take away that mark, which he's done successfully. So SOFM sticking around his solo laners for now, leaving bottom lane on an island, but Huanfeng and On have consistently been keeping up in CS, so they're fine.
And this is the thing, is that from SOFM's point of view, like, you're perfectly happy to farm up. You've off of this this first reset, I'd like to see him start to move down towards Dragon. You can see it well. Aki is aware that this could be the case, but Aki actually might look to just steal away this early Dragon, which is a nice call, but will set him at a pretty big disadvantage when it comes to just how quickly SOFM is going to run through this job.
And Smite's early, almost went down, but of course, when there's no one nearby, there's no Udyr there, so Aki picking it up, quite nice indeed, you're right. We'll back away after getting the objective, even being CS down, but SOFM, we've seen this before, Dagda.
This is what I mean. I'm actually not the biggest fan of that play. Like, you end up slowing down the pace of your own clear very, very quickly. SOFM's level 6 to the level 4 of Aki. He's got no topside camps. Yes, you've got that dragon, but you've actually stopped Woomin as well from hitting this early level 6, because he's now forced to recall again before he gets back towards mid lane, giving Angel this lost chapter so he can keep pushing. He still has a TP of his own, so he can continuously shove in, back, get more mana, and keep Woomin in check. The early game from OMG, how they needed the snowball, is not working out for them right now.
It's that Udyr early game magic, and 20 CS up here for SOFM has, look, been even in the top lane with the Sheen this early on, and Alila getting bullied out for his first LPL game. It's not looking too good. The 400 gold lead, quite dominant there. And SOFM now hits level 6, and we know it's Udyr. It's not going to make too much of a difference having all of his abilities at once, but he's just been going through his own jungle, denying marks as his first port of call, and then just rummaging through the rest of his camps. This is going to be double the CS of Aki in no time at all.
And this feels so much like the Suning that we loved from last year. You've got just lane-focused Angel on this Azir. You've got Huanfeng, who's just happy to farm up towards his first, second items on this Kai'Sa. You've got Bin in a counter matchup that he's able to punish in this top lane, and SOFM controlling and denying the ability for the opponents to have an impact in these lanes. This is where Suning are most comfortable.
Bin has Cannon Barrage. That was Dominus used. Alila builds up his Fury. He wants to sustain this, but Bin's not letting him get near. Now on the other side of the lane, SOFM's nearby as well. Cannon Barrage will help clear the wave, and I was umming because I think Alila's in a bad position. He might have to burn the flash. The parlay gets out with Grasp of the Undying. SOFM there. Flashes first. First blood to John Deere.
I think the flash was a bit overkill from SOFM, but you know what? The Deer has got it. And now, Aki.
All right.
He's gonna I'd get out of this one. I'd get out of here.
Udi
Yeah.
to chase him down. Yeah, SOFM loves the camp more than the kill. We know this. He bonds with the jungle monsters. They're one of him, so he won't take it away. He just pressures, laughs at him, then runs back to his own.
Yeah, I actually wanted to see that fully committed to by SOFM. I mean, even if you only just kind of close the gap onto Aki and start to punch him down, just denying a lot of health from this Kindred means he can't again interact with the lanes. You still had a good few seconds before you would have been able to have a Lila TP back in, and Des maybe wasn't aware that Woomin had so little mana and wasn't going to be able to do too much, but either way, Aki does get the camp. But it's still Suning in control of this game. They're the ones with the scaling. So as long as Aki isn't able to get these leads and start to get the gold rolling in favor of OMG, well, Suning are winning.
And if you want to fight a 2v2 anyway, Dagda, you talk about Wooming, it doesn't matter. I mean, Udi are in the early game. The Tiger stance on individual targets does so much. Again, we talked about the Phoenix Burst. SOFM are looking to challenge this one rather Suning. OMG might have to back away from the Rift Herald because the priority in the river goes to Suning.
Cold is in a good spot here, though. Pops the Unbreakable Will.
Yeah, attract and repel. SOFM at the back of the pit. He's just chilling there, but the Lamb's Spite will be used because Aki gets low, waiting up. SOFM in a weird position as the Emperor's Divide shuffles them back from Angel, waiting for the smite to come down, but it is just cured by Angel in the end. Into the back line, they run in first, and Eric pops the ulti. It's an infernal trigger of all sorts as Cold forces the flash out of Huan Feng. A messy fight. SOFM goes down in the end, but the Herald was picked up by Huan Feng.
Very messy, but as you said, Suning getting that Herald gives them a huge amount of control. Going over towards Wanfeng as well, who was just about able to grab that. However, Delilah taking a little bit of a trade topside. But that was messy. I mean, I don't know what SOFM was thinking. Going in towards the back of the pit, he had no flash, was a sitting duck then for the rest of OMG. Now, the team of Suning were able to turn that back around and getting some kills back in their favor, but certainly when OMG are able to pick up 2 kills for nothing, or well, not for nothing, but certainly 2 kills they shouldn't have.
He was blending into the background, Dagda. That's definitely not Udi. I don't know what they expected.
Yeah. Like, great engage from on there to knock up 2 members of OMG, but I don't know what SOFM's hiding back there for. Now, unfortunately, Angel doesn't quite get the timing, doesn't manage to shuffle OMG over the top and save SOFM, but he does steal that Rift Herald. Wanfeng does pick it up, and by the time Eric is able to get that S rank, the Inferno Trigger doesn't really do too much.
Solo kill territory. Alila trying to do this again. He almost gets burnt down by the passive from Bin. I was trying to trial by fire. There we go. Almost lost myself, but Alala's going to heal this one up. Bin knows that he doesn't have TP or his ult that was just used. So that is a net win for OMG. They start pushing out the top lane, and bottom side, the Herald, rather Dragon, actually going to be taken down here, and Aki going to try and back away afterwards.
This is actually a pretty big win for Aki. Honestly, or at least for OMG, because we talked about these early dragons and how Udyr likes to pick them up off of first reset, how he's so good at making it work, especially when you've got like the likes of Kai'Sa and Rel there. That team fight is, or at least that skirmish, is going to be pretty potent from Suning's side, but the fact that OMG have been able to get 2 of these dragons now, you're looking at this third one, and off of 1 item spikes, they're a lot stronger than Suning. They could potentially hit this mid game now where they're able to force Suning to take these fights.
Cancel that Dagda because Alila is just dead. He has the dominance to use, but SOFM's damage at this point in the game actually going to be cancelled. They're scared of the ultimate from Wooming. They don't have that timer. Wooming's ultimate wasn't up for another 20 seconds.
Yeah, they mistimed it. They knew that it had been used in that Baron, or in that Rift Herald fight. Wooming had used it to jump over the wall essentially, but they obviously didn't know exactly when that was up, and it does mean Alila is able to get away. Alila, though, he needs to calm himself. A couple of times he's gone for these trades against Bin in unfavorable matchups, and he's forced to flash away. He's not having the best of times. Now, you can't argue that it's been great at getting the likes of Bin's ultimate out, so that Cannon Barrage hasn't had an influence elsewhere, but I still think you need to be a little bit more careful, because these flashes as a Renekton in Dragon fights and in Rift Herald fights are very important to hold on to.
I respect it, especially since you want to be trying to take as much from this lane as you can as a Renekton versus the GP, especially scaling advantage over to Bin. Bin has actually gone for the Essence Reaver first. We saw this in a previous patch, but at the start of today, we talked a little bit about 11.2, what Essence Reaver does now with that 40% mana regen from the Spellblade, and that's before resistances, so it does feel like you get so much more mana out of trading now and especially the damage coming through from Binner, this third item is going to be big. As Suning dropping the Herald down in the bottom lane, and just to give Huanfeng a bit more from turret play.
Yeah, and it was picked up by Huanfeng, so the Rift Herald is just going to be used in this bottom lane, because you're not going to be able to move Huanfeng out to try and maybe get some more pressure mid or anything like that. And I like that, at least on Suning's side, they all congregated down on this bot side to ensure that they got that charge off. But that's going to give the Gale Force, I imagine, over towards Huanfeng. He's been sitting on the gold for a little bit now, and a pretty big spike to be hit by the Kai'Sa, but it's just not going to be matched for a little while by the solo laners on Suning's side.
Destiny being used though. Ben waiting for the orange for the gold card, but there's double CC up here. Cannon Barrage comes through. He holds on for now, sticking inside, waiting for Arki's ult, but he's not going to ult him. OMG with a quick 3, and that's actually a mark for Arki too, as SOFM walks on the deer. Don't know about that one. He's probably going to have to run away, Dagda, and SOFM now regretting his decision as I do like Homer. As over the wall, Lambs right now comes through, out with the shuffle. An interaction we've talked about many times before. Wooming now without any mana, without a flash. He followed suit, and he's going to die for it. A double kill for the 3-0 Azir, and SOFM's having a great time up here. Remember, Udyr early game. Alale wants to heal, does with a minion wave, but it's definitely not Udyr turtle. Into Phoenix, flashes away. He's going to go back in. He's waiting for the bear stance. Waiting for Angel to help him out as well. One quick slap, and Angel now 4-0.
Oh my god, that was just a massive swing in favor of Suning. Really well played from Angel that entire fight, but yeah, this is not looking so hot for OMG now. At the later game composition with a 2,000 gold lead, 4 kills for Angel, he'll have his Nash's Tooth completed, and suddenly, you know that spike I was saying that Huanfeng had hit that wouldn't be matched by the solo laners? It's been hit pretty hard by Angel now, thanks to that big old cash injection.
You know what's great? What the best part is the fact that, you know, we were going to set up mid to late. We talked about late game comps. That Aki picks up Kindred, and straight away Suning's response as the final pick on red side is this Azir. The counter the ultimate that we saw, and over the wall, that's exactly what it did.
Yeah, and it's a great matchup into this Twisted Fate as well. He's able to shove in very effectively, and you can see here that Wooming, this is the first ultimate we've gotten out of Wooming. Now, yes, they got a kill, but it also netted several more back in favor of Suning. And this is what we were talking about with so much of that early interaction between Wooming using that TP early, focusing on these early dragons, getting another recall from Wooming. He's actually been set so far behind from those plays and hasn't been able to have this impact. Now when he does go for the play, Suning are just in a better position to answer for the aggressive team.
Going to be a Nash's Tooth coming up, Dagda. It's going to be pretty soon as well. I don't think our chat can see on the left-hand side of the screen, but Angel currently 1,000 gold over Wooming. I'm also looking SOFM 700 gold over Arki, even though the kill scores are even. As in the bottom lane, On starts to engage onto Cold, gets the attract repel, slowed down. Cold takes so much CC, but SOFM's not going to follow this up, nor is OMG, because Angel has arrived. Oh, they're still here.
This is a scary old bird. Pigeon is definitely looking a little bit more dinosaur right now, because you don't want to mess with him, but
that's a weird comparison, Dagda, from a pigeon to a dinosaur. That's definitely not evolution.
But birds are dinosaurs. Birds are dinosaurs.
Those are steroids. I don't like it. Oh, wow.
Look, the birds are the dinosaurs, all right? That's
a long way down the chain, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. At the very least, you know, he's big chicken. You know, he's a big chick. You see those roosters?
Just move it on. All right, it was terrible. It was terrible. We're leading too long into this. There's gonna be Reddit comments and Twitter comments now. I don't need this in my life. Let's just.
But hey, Dragon goes down, and for Suning, you know, picking that up, the first Dragon of their game, they then move over. They move Angel over, and as a one-man unit, OMG pay respect. They get off the Herald, so there is no trade right now for the OMG that are 3,000 gold behind.
And that's a big issue, because they needed to be still picking up these advantages. A Rift Herald would have been wonderful for them, specifically in this mid lane as well, and just creating this long lane that Wooming can look to shove in and then move, but unfortunately not going to be the case. And now you got TPs on bot side.
Dagda, you know what's going on? Suning are bringing Angel in, and Cole just gets ulted back because... Yeah, he's worried.
Angel!
No, but he knew he was going to die there, so he sends Cole out.
That was gorgeous.
Oh, good.
He managed to use his ultimate to cancel the headbutt of the Alistar.
True.
He timed it perfectly. So it meant that he didn't get locked up. So when that port came in, he was able to just dash over the wall. That was so well played by Angel.
I thought you're going to criticize it. I'm like, that's a really good disengage.
No, I was like,
glad.
take a bow. Take a bow. That was sick.
I mean, Angel's been playing this game really, really well. And, you know, with that ultimate use, remember that the cooldown's not too far. On the right-hand side of your screen, you see that Angel's ult's almost half the way up. And while we were watching that play, I was gushing at something else, Dagda. We have an Iceborne Udyr. So, you know, SOFM just bringing out what we've seen is the
Chem tank.
Chem tank. Thank you so much. Items elude me. And in the LPL, that's all we've seen. You know, 100% of games.
And pretty much everywhere. Yeah, pretty much everywhere is what we've seen. Like, it's Chem tank into that Dead Man's Plate that we were talking about. So, surprised to see this, honestly, especially with the ability for OMG to kite him out. It's pretty easy to get, like, the stuns coming in from Woomin, Aki has slows, you got Code who can headbutt him away. I think, honestly, getting the slow potential would be pretty big for SOFM and just being able to close the gap. But I mean, at least if you get on top of them, you do have a lot more slows to offer. It's just the getting on top of them part I'm a bit worried.
This is just what I was talking about though, right? Like, he's an innovator. SOFM is the best innovator in the LPL and one of the best in the world. He'll play what he wants to play and not really what everyone else is. In the LCK, all 5 games of Udyr I was just looking at have been the Chem tank. So SOFM is going to become a big deer. Like, he's actually going to become the tractor. And around these next objectives, we'll see how SOFM weaves into the fight. Still a long way to go here, but it's still quite strong. Pairing up with On, who's been caught out. Destiny being used as well. SOFM trying to get him out as the Ferromancy crash down being used. Flash over the wall. On is escaping for now, but Juan Fong on the backside angle. And Ben trying for the counter engage. Counter barrage there. Wooming flashes away, and look, by himself is a Lili. And like the boxer, you know, he flashes away. And I was trying to weave that in. I listened to the song for this reason. I couldn't remember the bloody lyrics.
And look, it's not been a good day for the one-liners today, has it? But you know what? Look, we're gonna leave that one there. Suning are chasing OMG out of the river. They're chasing them back towards their own base. And with the advantages that OMG have accrued, they get that mid tower. They're moving over towards this Rift Herald as well. And I mean, what do you do as OMG? Like, your composition, this is when they're supposed to be strong. But because you have a 4,000 gold lead on Suning, Angel already has a second item. Juan Fong is huge. Bin has already got that Immortal Shield Bow and that Essence Rebirth. They are so damn strong right now.
Yep.
And OMG can't fight them.
Another reason why you said you didn't like the composition, you saw agency for OMG, but they gave away so much in this draft. And, you know, SOFM just picks Udyr. It was like, great, okay, I'm not going to be contesting with Arky in the early game. Cool. Let's play towards lanes. And in the early game, SOFM has been farming, has been shadowing a lot of these lanes. Angel gets fed off of some of the mistakes and fights that OMG initiated. And we're at a point where Suning a 4,000 gold up in this game 1 at 21 minutes in the game. It feels like a slow burner at the very least. And as Dragon's coming up in 20 seconds, OMG think they can fight. But Suning, all they need is that one pick, and OMG will have to back away.
And you can't even try and, you know, play out through side lanes here as OMG with, like, Wooming and Lili trying to create some sort of pressure. So now you're forced to play with your Twisted Fate already here, which is never the comfortable spot for Wooming.
Juan Fong clearing out the wave meanwhile, though, just to get priority and agency. OMG on this bottom side river, trying to get back some of their vision line. Lili's been spotted out on the flank as well. Angel's here. And this is what I was saying. If there's a pick, then it just goes out the window as Lili, he's trying to time it, and Wooming's committing as well. OMG say, all right, let's fight then. But Angel picks up yet another kill. Golden as SOFM absorbs the damage from the rest of the team. But the shuffle out, the interaction perfect. This is why they gave this pick to Angel, as it's a quadra kill. And you know what? It's penta time for this mid laner.
And that was beautiful from Angel. He has deserved that pentakill in this game. Getting that play up towards the top side, giving him so much gold. And now, with the Azir shuffle of a lifetime, has set himself up for the 5-man kill.
He's 9-0, Dagda. That penta adds so much stat line. It's going to add an extra item. This game's over. Chat, look down, look to your left, look to your right. Where's your bin? We see ours on screen. We see yours down there as the Baron goes down. OMG have literally put themselves right in your trash can.
Yeah, this is, I don't know, like, Why Alili is here, why he thought it was a good idea to go up against 4 members, I don't know. And then Woomin here as well. Like, that TP so close to the rel is always going to go poorly. Great job from On to set it up, but there you go. That shuffle, it's doomed. There's no coming back.
Well, definitely over. Pentakill being reenacted. And Suning now is Zhonya's Hourglass on Angel, if you're wondering. We've also got SOFM with 2 items. And there's 5,000 damage. Like, Angel with the shuffle as well hits 4 members. That's going to do a lot.
Take note, folks. You're going to be seeing that Angel play again in your top 5 plays. That's going to be one that's going to be sticking around for a little bit.
And Ben just waiting around. Alili in the side lane. I think Aki is going to try and dive this one with Lamb's Respite not up. So if this goes wrong, it goes terribly wrong. As Ben doesn't have the ulti, but has the flash and the damage. Alili runs away, but the last tower shot almost takes him down. Angel flies in once again. And this is OMG just throwing everything in the kitchen sink. Meanwhile, the base is going to get destroyed. And Suning are going to run it home because Angel is close to killing Alili again. The shifting sands sends out to conquer. And Eric's going to die too. One more auto necessary. Huanfeng getting the cleanup. Wooming the follow-up. Cold the defensive maneuver. But Wooming is going to go down for a double. SOFM is tanking up with the turtle stance. And Suning have done it all.
Yeah, OMG, they didn't do themselves any favors in this draft. They didn't do themselves any favors in this execution. And Sunings now will step forward with a 1-0 lead in this series.
14 kills, 11 of them go to Angel. This was a wash, and OMG know it. Aki in with the ultimate once again. Angel doesn't even have his available, but as soon as Cold gets out of it, he's dead too. On absorbs the damage, remounts, or dismounts, excuse me, to get the shield, and there's game 1 with a pentakill over to Angel with absolute dominance from Suning over OMG.
So well played by Suning. So well drafted by Suning as well. I mean, we called it from the very get-go that they just understood, hey, look, if we're able to take all these advantageous matchups, we end up with the Udyr here as well. There's nothing that this Kindred can do. The second you didn't lock in the likes of the Nidalee